Am I the asshole for purposefully waiting to go home when my stepsister was locked out of the house? My dad and stepmom work late, so it's usually just me and my stepsisters home alone. The older one is usually at her friend's place, so she isn't home during the day. I am usually gone for football practice or the gym during the day while my other stepsister is at soccer practice. She forgets her house key like maybe 3 or 4 times a week. Usually I am only like 5-10 minutes behind her, so I can just let her in. The other day though, I decided to go get lunch with my buddies, so I was late for when I usually arrive. When we were walking to the restaurant, my stepsister called me asking if I was coming home and that she's locked out again. I told her that I'm getting lunch and to call her sister if she needs to be let in. She tried pleading with me to come home cause her sister was like 20-30 minutes away and we both knew she would decline. I basically told her tough shit and to wait till I come home and hung up on her. This is where I might be TA. We were done with lunch in about an hour and I decided to milk the time till I had to go back home, and we hung out for about another hour or two. I had to take the train home, so my stepsister was waiting for almost 3 hours in our backyard. Needless to say, but she was pissed. She was full on cussing me out in the backyard for how I was being rude. I didn't really say anything other than to not forget your key before going inside and heading to my room. I didn't talk to her for the rest of the night till dinner, but after dinner my dad wasn't too happy with what I did and said that if she needs the house key, then I can't hang out with my friends till I unlock the door. My stepsister is pissed at me obviously, and now my older stepsister is saying I was being a jerk, but I'm curious what others think. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Since she forgets her key 3 or 4 times a week, it's unreasonable to expect you to drop all your social life this often. I drop all my plans if my family member forgets her key once in 2 or 3 years, but since it's a habit, she has to just wait. Not the asshole. She needs to learn to take her key with her. You're basically teaching her a well-needed lesson. Dad is AH for enabling her forgetful behavior. Not the asshole. She is relying on you to have a key. Forgetting 3-4 times a week is ridiculous. Next time she calls, just let it go to voicemail, and when just before you get home, switch your phone off. Also, parents can help and hide a spare key in the backyard or something. They can also put a spare key somewhere she isn't likely to forget, like attached to her phone or wallet. Ultimately, however, it's your stepsister's responsibility to bring the key if she wants to get into the house. Info: why does older stepsister get to say your TA? Why is nobody blaming her? She also stayed out instead of cancelling her plans with her friend. Did you point that out to your family? And why is nobody mad at younger stepsister for always forgetting her keys? Not the asshole. If your stepsister is old enough to going out and about alone, then she's old enough to be responsible for her keys. She and your dad can't expect other people to drop what they're doing and let her in. Even though purposefully taking longer to get home was petty and not necessary for her to learn her lesson, so a minor move. Especially because this was the first time she would have realized how important it is for her to have her key. This whole problem could be solved by a key safe attached to an outside wall. Tell dad that she has a key and they can let her in unless they are willing to compensate you for the plans you have to give up. As a parent, I would tell them they need to remember the key. Everything is a life lesson at this age. She needs to learn to take care of herself. This is the time to make these mistakes. She has a safe place to make these mistakes. It was a little petty. And if she had called her sister, then maybe she would have been able to get inside earlier. Parents gave her a key and it is her responsibility to remember to bring the key when she leaves. Backpacks usually have a spot to clip the key ring in. Not the asshole. She has a set of keys and decides to not bring them with her. Why is that your problem? You don't forget them 3-4 times a week. You elect not to bring them 3-4 times a week. Edit based on response. Not the asshole. Your parents need to hold your sister accountable for remembering her key and designate a safe place for her to wait if she can't get in the house. 15 is old enough to be responsible for her own key. Not the asshole. It's not your responsibility to be home to let her in, that's why she has a key. It sucks she had to wait, but that's why it's important to keep track of your keys. Unless there were some weather conditions that would made it extra shitty or dangerous, or you live in a bad neighborhoods or something, I think you're fine. His sister could come get his key, then drop it back off to him if she really wanted to. Not the asshole. Since she forgets so often, she is either not responsible enough to walk home by herself, or she's not actually forgetting and is just being a spoiled twit. Your dad needs a reality check and your stepsister needs to wear the key around her neck. Not the asshole. At 15 years old, barring any mental incompetencies, we're unaware if she should be able to keep tabs on her house key. What happens at 16 when she can't remember her car key? Will you be responsible for that too? She's home, in a safe place backyard, and you aren't her parent. How is this your problem? Not the asshole. She's the one who forgot her keys and that's her problem. You don't have to stop whatever you're doing just to open the door for her, and she should learn her lesson. Not the asshole. You can't base your schedule around her just because she can't be bothered to remember her key. It was a good lesson and it's not that big a deal if she's just waiting in your home's backyard. Not the asshole. And who cares if you stayed late? Maybe now she will learn. She was in your backyard. It's not like she was stranded somewhere scary. Better she learn now than when she's at college or living by herself and has no one to help her. Not the asshole. If she legit forgets her key 3-4 times a week, she needs a swift kick in the reminder area of her brain, and you gave it to her. Not the asshole. I used to forget my key sometimes, and I'd have to chill until someone got home. There was no calling someone to come home early. It was just sitting in the backyard and relaxing. Not the asshole. She's not 5. She doesn't need to be let in. She's old enough to remember her damn house key to let herself into her home. If her sister thinks you're an AH, you can tell her next time this happens she can drop everything she is doing to let her in. What will she do when she's older? Has her own place? Will she rely on people to let her in? She needs to get it together. Not the asshole. She could have come to you to get the key. She has legs, they work. Not the asshole. But your family is. At what point does she take accountability for forgetting her house key? What if you were out of town? Or in a game? Are you supposed to drop everything to let her in because she doesn't have a brain? She is the absolute asshole to be pissed at you for not coming when she summoned. F her and her sister and your dad. Don't answer her call the next time. Not the asshole. Her problems are not your problems, and her one main problem is the constant forgetting of her key. Hopefully, she will eventually learn. Not the asshole. If she had forgotten her key for the first time and you purposefully stayed out, you would be an AH. But that's not the case. She has habitually left her key at home because she thought there was no consequences. Well, she finally found them. You are not always going to be available to let her in. She has her own key and she is trusted to get herself home, so she needs to be responsible for herself. If she needs someone to care for her, then your parents need to sort something else out. Not the asshole. If she's got issues, it's on the parents to either teach her or remedy the situation. Why in the world is this your burden? Not the asshole. Your dad is the R. That's only teaching you to not answer her texts. Not the asshole. Have your dad install a lockbox outside with a combo that contains a spare key. They make small ones for this exact purpose. That way, your stepsister never needs to remember her key. She just opens the box, uses the key, and replaces it in the box. No need for anyone to be inconvenienced. Not the asshole. How about your parents get a lockbox for a house key or a keyless entry passcode lock if she can't be responsible?